Some people like being alone. Since you're watching this video, you must be one of them. Being alone doesn't mean you're lonely. In fact, loners like and seek their own company because it makes them feel most at peace and fulfilled. When you like being alone, it can be weird and confusing if you haven't grasped the nature of loners. You aren't a bad person. Rather, a loner like you has remarkably good personality characteristics. For instance, you're extremely loyal and empathetic. Relate much? Well, those are just two of the many things that say about your personality as a loner. So no, you aren't weird or bad, you're you, and it's time to embrace this side of yourself more. Stay tuned to learn more. Before we continue, a like would be great. Number 1, you have an open mind. One of the common stereotypes of loners is that they're unyielding and closed-minded. In reality, it's actually the opposite. Since you spend a lot of your time alone, you process so many thoughts and things, which then leads to being open to new ideas and activities. Being closed-minded means closing your mind to all the possibilities. They don't ask questions, let alone entertain the likelihood that they might be wrong. Closed-minded people only care about being right. But when you like being alone, you're a thinker who asks questions and welcomes any possibility. Number 2, you're a deep thinker. Humans who like being alone tend to be deep thinkers. Sometimes others call them daydreamers. This means you spend most times with your head in the clouds thinking about things that the majority of the population would not. In addition, being alone allows you to get to know yourself better. Your self-awareness is greater than the average person's. In other words, you can tap into the deepest part of yourself and genuinely understand what makes you happy, what your needs and wants are, and what it means to be you. And because you can focus more on things that truly interest you, being alone then becomes enjoyable, like an activity that sparks positive feelings within you. Number 3, you're an introvert. You might have already guessed this about yourself, but allow us to tell you a bit more. There's a huge chance that you're an introvert if you like or maybe even love your alone time. This shouldn't be a letdown. Contrary to whatever misconceptions and stereotypes about introverts, they're some of the best people in the world. Introverts come off as detached and sometimes even unfeeling. They can be, but only to people they don't care about. But when you mean the world to them, trust introverts to make you feel supported, cared for, and loved. Their energy and interactions are reserved only for such people. Also, like loners, introverts get most of their energy when in solitude. Are you always drawn to quiet places? If so, then this likely has got to do with your fondness for being alone. More about this next. Number 4, you love peace and quiet. Loners would pick a chill movie marathon by themselves over partying somewhere surrounded by friends and strangers any day. And you're like that too? And no, it isn't because you have a problem with people. It's simply because being around them drains your energy. This explains why your number 1 safe haven whenever you're low on energy is your bedroom or anywhere else quiet and comfy where you can be alone. Number 5, you're incredibly empathetic. You're one of the most empathetic individuals in the whole world. Not only are you in touch with your emotions, but also with all kinds of energy surrounding you. One of the reasons you prefer to be on your own is because you're very sensitive to the worries and problems of others. As a result, this can exhaust you. So your instinct then tells you to get away and be alone. This is the curse of being an empath. Fortunately, since you're so empathetic, it's easier for you to look at the bright side in nearly any negative situation. Once you've taken the time to recharge, as in be alone, you can just bounce back. Number 6, you love doing your own thing. Remember what we said about you being open-minded? Well, because of this, you understand that being with other people always comes with an element of compromise. In other words, you can't do the things you like, say go to your favorite cafe or watch your favorite series because you need to consider others. And that's okay with you. There's time for bonding with others and time for yourself. When you're alone, however, you're free to do your own thing. There's no need for compromises. You can enjoy the things you're passionate about while being in your most relaxed state with your own company. Do you also feel awkward or maybe even annoyed when people talk to you about the weather or work? Does this sound like you? Find out more about this here. Number 7, you can't stand small talk. Small talk isn't for loners or people who prefer being alone. It's cringy, awkward, pointless, and just plain bothersome. You don't understand the need for people to ask such questions and talk about such topics. Moreover, you have better things to do with your time than engage in shallow small talk. You would do anything just to avoid it. To be fair though, since you spend more time with yourself, your small talk skills aren't that well developed anyway. So why put yourself in awkward situations, right? Furthermore, you like having meaningful conversations because it gives you insights into that person. You're also an empath, remember? Number 8, you have clear boundaries. You like being alone, which means you also practice strong and healthy boundaries. You have all the time and space to figure out what motivates you, what works, and what doesn't. And guess what? All those led to you having solid boundaries. You have a deep understanding of yourself, allowing you to have clear ideas and values. Plus, even if you're the last human alive on Earth, you know you're never alone because you still have yourself. Everyone has a different approach to life, but that's what life is about anyway: acknowledging, accepting, and celebrating our differences. Number 9, you hate drama. Gossiping, talking about people behind their back, and downplaying others to make yourself look better, those are not your thing. In fact, you don't understand why people do such things when they only invite negative energy and toxicity. You're a chill person who loves your peace and quiet. And because you're easily drained by negativities, you like being enveloped by positive vibes. So as much as possible, you stay away from drama. And one of the best ways to do that is to be alone. Another trait that speaks about your loner nature is being loyal. Is this true for you as well? Discover more about this next. Number 10, your loyalty runs deep. You don't crave the company of others the way many people do. Nevertheless, you're very much capable of being loyal. Once you like someone for who they are, you can easily be one of their most loyal friends. You know your worth, so if you find a person worthy of your friendship, then you'd gladly give your arm for them when necessary. Sure, you might not have a wide social circle, but your small group of friends is always meaningful and trustworthy. Number 11, you rely a lot on intuition. As you spend a lot of time understanding yourself and your inner world, your sense of intuition also develops. Those inner nudges and feelings constantly guide you as you move through life. Your gut instincts are also very helpful when making tough decisions. You're brave because you know your intuition won't fail you and would lead you to a journey just as amazing as the last one you had. Number 12, you're never codependent. You don't feel the urge to depend on someone else for anything in your life, especially emotion-wise. You don't need others' validation to make you feel better. Even when you're in a relationship, you are your own person and like doing things your own way. When dealing with emotional problems, you rely on yourself to deal with them and don't seek outside help. You simply are your own source of happiness. Thus, even when you're alone, you feel comfortable and secure because you're not depending on your happiness on anything or anyone but yourself. As we've mentioned before, your preference to be alone can be due to your introverted nature. Aside from those things we've talked about, there's actually a lot more to introversion than what we could narrate in a couple of sentences. Learn more about introversion and how it differs from extroversion by clicking here.